Miss Thomas Crawford watched with pleasure as the young girl busied herself with trimming the bad leaves from the houseplants, after she had cleaned and washed everything. "Your name is Lauren?" She winced and turned around. "I'm sorry, I didn't see you coming. I'm leaving now." She began frantically picking up leaves and scissors. "You didn't answer my question." "Yes, my name is Lauren. Excuse me, I didn't think you'd be here so early. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. The company starts working at 9 o'clock. "But you were so engrossed that I didn't dare distract you. I really don't like it when such a mess on the plants." The girl smiled. "Then can I finish?" "Of course. Still, no one is there yet." Thomas arrived early for a reason. Today he didn't even manage to sleep. At about 2 o'clock in the morning, he received a call from the police asking him to pick up his beloved son. To be honest, he wanted to tell them he wasn't coming for Todd. "How much can you help him?" He was 26 years old, but he was still stupid. But his wife woke up and he had to go for his son. Thomas chastised Todd like he was a 5-year-old boy, and his friends too. By the time he drove everyone home, by the time he got to his house, it was almost 6 in the morning. When the father watched his wife and the housekeeper pour tea to Todd, he wanted to give his son a good shake so that he would understand how to behave. Since Todd returned from studying abroad 4 years ago, he has not worked a single day, but he knew how and loved to walk. Thomas blocked his account several times, but his wife immediately gave the boy her credit card. Todd walked right and left and got away with everything. He ignored all the talk about the need to take on the mind. This time, Todd outdid himself. He, along with the sons of his father's partners, stole a police car, and they drove drunk around the city in it. And it's still unknown that now Mr. Crawford will owe the chief of police. Of course, they know each other very well, but he had already said that his patience was coming to an end, and Thomas understood him perfectly. "Lauren, tell me why you are so young and work as a cleaner." The girl smiled. "I study at the correspondence department. I can only work in the morning and evening because I have to take care of my mother during the day. My neighbor looks after her, but during the day she can't. Therefore, I work for you in the morning, and in the evening I clean the entrances." Thomas even went a little crazy from such a revelation. "Lauren, why do you have to work so hard? You after all need to hand over sessions." "I can handle it myself. My mother is very sick. Medicines are expensive. I also have a brother, but he doesn't lead a very good life, and sometimes it happens that... However, it doesn't matter. Sorry. I have already finished and I will go." Thomas looked after her, and then he thought he needed to find out more about her. Do such people still exist today? By evening, he knew everything about Lauren, and he wanted to take his hat off to this girl. He called the accountant and asked to raise the girl's salary. He said that taking care of the flowers was not the job of a cleaner. No one in his firm ever asked him questions, so he hung up, getting a clear, "I'll do it," in response. When he arrived home in the evening, he noticed that his son's friends were standing near gates. The car of one of them could be seen around the corner. "So, will you walk again? Are you tired of this?" A real wave of indignation rose in Thomas's soul, and at that moment he saw Todd, who was coming down the stairs to meet him. "Well, son, did you get enough sleep and rest?" Todd glanced wearily at his father. Such a gentle voice is not peculiar to him at all. "Yes, and what?" "Nothing. Come back to the house." And Thomas went without looking back, and Todd had no choice but to follow him. He felt with his skin that something would happen now, but he didn't dare to disobey his father. He knew that Daddy endures for a long time. But if the end comes, run. That's how Todd ended up in a closed school abroad. And he had to not only spend 4 years practically locked up, but also to study there. What did he do yesterday? They had some fun, so what? No harm done. They didn't even damage the car. Mom looked anxiously at her husband and Todd. "Son, did you forget something?" But Todd didn't have time to answer, because his father answered for him. I forgot that he is a man, not an animal. Explain to me why I should blush for what my son is doing. Why is everyone proud of their children, and I should be ashamed of my son?"
"Thomas, but—"
"Shut up!" Mr. Crawford only raised his voice to his wife twice in his life, and both times because of Todd. She froze, and he took out a pack of newspapers and magazines from his briefcase. "Look at your son." The photos were good. They perfectly showed Todd showing his bare ass as they drove through the police station in a police car. Todd just now remembered this story. "Shit! Looks like you won't be able to leave today." The father turned to him. "Whether you like it or not, I will make a man out of you, and if I fail, then I will throw you out the gate and see how you survive." And then Todd decided to show that he is an adult and self-sufficient man. "I myself can decide what to do and when," he said, and understood that this was the end. Who pulled him by the tongue? My father even blushed. He pulled out his phone. "Call the head of security to me, quickly." Mom came up to Todd and hugged him. She knew Thomas well. Now Todd will have to answer. But she asked her son to be careful. The head of security arrived 15 minutes later. All this time, Thomas sat in an armchair and looked gloomily at his son. "Mr. Crawford, did you call me?" "Yes, come on." A young, fit man walked closer to the boss. "Do you see this mindless body?" Not a single muscle twitched on the man's face. "Oh, sure. Do what you want. Hang a chain on him, put a guard on him, but he must not leave the courtyard until I allow it. Is it clear?" "Yes, I will do it. You can go." The man left, and Todd stared at his father. "You are crazy. This is the last century, so children are no longer punished." "This is not punishment, but time for me to come up with a punishment for you. I'm coming up with a punishment for you. Trust me. Go to your room." "But I said go to the room." In the morning, Thomas woke up early and looked at his watch. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. He didn't want to sleep anymore, and he didn't want to be at home either. He quietly packed up and went to work. He loved to work, because he created his company from scratch, and now he was one of the richest people in the city. He wasn't surprised to see Lauren in the office. She was rubbing the front glass doors, and looked at him in surprise.
"Mr. Crawford, you came so early."
"I can't sleep, Lauren. Can you find coffee and maybe some candy in this building? I forgot to have breakfast, and my secretary is not coming soon." Lauren smiled.
"Yes, I'll bring everything."
"And make yourself some coffee. You've had enough cleaning. Everything sparkles here anyway." They were sitting in his office, and Thomas was looking at the girl. "She's very pretty, but tired." She asked him,
"Did something happen to you?"
"Oh, Lauren, don't ask. Just like in the series, Los ricos también lloran." For some reason, Thomas told her everything. The girl listened attentively, didn't interrupt, and then said,
"On the one hand, it's bad when a person has everything."
"Lauren, what is your mother sick with?"
"She worked as a conductor. One day a fight broke out in the carriage, and my mother began to separate them, but she was pushed out of the train. She had several surgeries, and she constantly needs medication or surgery, so that she can more or less live peacefully without pain. I earn money for the medicines, but for the surgery—"
Thomas suddenly asked her, "Lauren, how old are you?"
"I'm 22 years old."
"Do you know what I want to offer you? Earn a lot of money. So much money. You will make your mother a surgery, and you will live in a completely different way."
"What do I need to do? Kill someone?"
"Nearly. Marry my son." Lauren choked on her coffee and coughed.
"I'm sorry, what?"
"Lauren, I've got it all figured out." When Todd left the wedding palace, he still thought that this was some kind of bad joke. His father married him to some poor and completely ordinary girl. It's some kind of movie. He was already ready for the fact that now the paparazzi would jump out from around the corner, shouting, "Prank." But they got into the car, drove to the restaurant, and there were no paparazzi. Moreover, the tables are already set and the guests are waiting in the restaurant. Todd saw his father's colleagues and partners, his friends. He turned to Thomas.
Dad, is this not a joke?
Not. The thing is, you've been charged with a crime. You should be put in jail. I was only able to dissuade Mr. Marcos because I convinced him that you had changed. You must marry a simple girl and go live in a suburban village, and you will also earn money for your family and yourself. He promised to look after it and only then forget about it.
Dad, you won't do this.
Do you doubt it? The wedding was in full swing when a familiar businessman approached Thomas. Thomas, you've made me laugh. Do you think you'll remake Todd? I will surprise you, but we ourselves are to blame, and no one will change them now. He laughed and stepped aside. Thomas gritted his teeth and thought, we'll see. Lauren didn't care. As soon as she received a call from the hospital and was told that her mother's surgery was paid for, she went to choose a wedding dress. She chose the first dress that she came across. When the car brought them to her house, Todd was surprised.
Are we going to live here?
Yes.
Let's go get to bed, otherwise I have to get up early for work tomorrow.
A day later, Todd realized that he would not wait for either the wedding night or food in this house. Lauren left early in the morning, and when she came home, she sat down to study. A week later, he was forced to look for work, and when he found a job, for the first time, he was fed dinner in his house. 6 months have passed. To be honest, Thomas is fed up with the ridicule from his companions. He even felt sorry for his son. All his friends continued to have fun, and he sent his son into exile. And Lauren had to quit so that Todd would not guess everything. Decided. Tomorrow he will go and take it back. The head of security reported yesterday that Todd is working, and he and Lauren seem to be doing well. But the father understood that this couldn't be, and people just don't change. Thomas got out of the car. How does his son live here? He climbed the steps and knocked on the door. A breathtaking aroma wafted from behind the door. The door is open. He pushed open the door, entered the apartment, and immediately stopped. Lauren sat on the table, and his son, who never did anything, washed the dishes. Both of them had smiles on their faces.
Dad, by what fate did you come to see us?
Todd seemed genuinely glad to see him. Lauren smiled too.
Come on in. We were just about to celebrate the first Todd's award.
Thomas gently pinched his arm. Does he dream about it? When they sat down at the table, they served him a delicious chicken, and he nevertheless asked,
What is the award? Dad, I got a job at a local factory. By the way, it belongs to your competitor. I offered him one interesting development, and when they realized what the point was, they wrote me an award. We want to make repairs, but we also decided to celebrate this event a little.
Repairs? That's all Mr. Crawford could say. He noticed that Lauren's eyes shone with happiness, and his son was pleased and happy. When they came out onto the balcony, Thomas said, Son, I must confess to you.
Dad, you don't have to do this. Lauren told me everything when I wanted to fulfill my marital duty. But that was a long time ago, and I want to thank you. If not for this punishment, I would never have noticed her, and would not have known what beautiful girls there are in the world.
So, you...
Yes, Dad. And if you don't accept my wife, we'll stay here. I can provide for us. I may not become the same millionaire as you, but I will do a lot for my family.
Mr. Crawford went into the room. Lauren, that's enough. Get ready. I didn't want my son to help my competitors. 2 more years have passed. There was a soft knock on the door. Yes, come in.
Mr. Crawford.
Let him come in, I know. His friend and companion entered. He was pale. What happened? Thomas, I don't know what to do with Oswin. He went crazy.
What is it this time? They hit a man with a car and ran away. The man survived, but he turned out to be a lawyer, and my son was driving.
I don't know. Maybe you should stop paying for him. Let him figure it out.
It's good for you to talk. Your Todd raised such a firm from its knees. I heard he bought something else.
Yes, he is going to reopen the juice production in the city. But everyone didn't. I know. We were wrong. There are probably no more like your daughter-in-law. Yes, there are no more, but you still take my advice. Let him try to answer for himself at least once. Of course, don't let them put him in jail, but pretend you don't interfere with it.
Thanks. I will try to do it. Maybe I can do it.